All right, this is just a quick review because some of you in other courses I've taught have had this. For you, it's a good review. For those who haven't had that, this is going to be important in this particular cohort. It's about powerful presentations. And in the business world, you're probably in your career going to have to make some powerful presentations. So let's define success. All right, would this session be successful for you if one, it's personal, insights that make sense. Two, it's purposeful, it enhances the foundation of this course. And three, it's meaningful. You'll learn some things that can help in your career. And if you got any questions or needs, please let me know. Let's start off with shaping the message. And today is important more than ever. Think about it. If Martin Luther King had said, "Have I got a dream?" which he did, obviously, you've heard of him. If he had said instead, "Have I got a strategic plan?" do you think you'd have heard of him? No. People are inspired by the dream, the vision, what they can picture, the outcome, the experience that they're trying to avoid and or gain, not the plan of how you get there. Sell the promise, sell the dream. So, perspectives to consider. Right. One, great presentations, got to be personal, right? Without an audience in mind, it's like addressing a love letter to whom it may concern. Make it personal to them. Two, it's going to have purpose. Purpose for them. If you don't know what you want to achieve, your audience never will. Three is emotion. You may forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And most people make decisions and behavior on how they feel. Keep it simple. Many attempts to communicate are nullified by saying too much. Don't overcomplicate it and engage them. Make sure you finish speaking before your audience is finished listening. So, again, give you a quick demonstration. It's not for you. It's about them. So in the first slide I'm going to show you, I want you to first find the number one, then find the number two, then find the number three and see how far you can get. I'm going to give you a minute. Ready? Go. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 51, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 57, 8, 9, 60. Now, how far did you get? Now, if you've done it before, you may have gotten along. If you haven't, most of you probably 8, 10, 12, maybe as high as 20, a few higher. Let's do it again. Slightly different. Number one's the top left-hand box. Number two's in the second left-hand box. Keep going. You got 60 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 52, 53, 54, 5, 6, 7, 8, 59, 60. And my guess is you got to the number 48. Now, what's the purpose of this? When we talk, we know exactly what we mean. It's totally logical. It's in order. We talk in paragraphs. You want to block out your information in blocks, in chunks. And when you flip the page, they know you're in a new chunk. When you demonstrate it visually, they know you're in a new chunk. It makes it much easier to follow the logic. And you notice when I put the blocks in, your anxiety probably dropped, which makes it easier to learn, easier to follow. Good things happen. So when you share things with people, keep it visual and make it real clear as you change each paragraph. And a paragraph is a chunk, the promise, details to back it up. And the smaller the chunks, the more effective you are. All right, some foundational basics. This is embarrassing, but my spell checker's not working. But whatever. What the heck just happened here? All right, I'll fix that. You understand. 1, trust. Whoever earns the most trust winds up with more than their fair share. So what's a recipe for trust? Share your information more than telling it. And a technique that I use is the more you can use something that's a statistic or a testimonial, what someone else said, or what an expert said, or analogy, it's very similar to something else they're familiar with, or demonstrate it, or it's what that person told you based on a question you asked them. That information is shared, and shared information is trusted more. Use your headlines to tell the story. Use a combination of major headline and subheadline. Right? And one of the ways I test a presentation, suggest you do too. Read only the headlines and the subheadlines. And if you can't tell the whole story from that, and it doesn't make sense, go back and do it again. Because the headline and the subheadline say, what's important to know? What's the conclusion you want them to walk away with? What is the promise you're making that the data and the proof is below? I only read the headlines and subheadlines. I get the whole story and it makes sense. Focus on what they want. It's for them. It's not what's in it for you. If they can read your presentation, hey, they don't need you. Use graphics to enhance the story, make it come alive. The more visual, the more effective. And again, as we've said, focus on the outcomes, their experience, not what you want them to do, the experience you're going to help them avoid or gain, what drives all behavior. So let's get into it. Some observations about slides, common opportunities for improvement. 1, less wordy. Eliminate words you don't need. It's not English class. 2, the more contrast, the better, in both color and size. 3, the more visual, it creates pops. And again, use headlines and subheadlines, and when you can, make it steady. Notice every one of my slides has a major headline. This one's about observations about slides. Ian, what are you going to see below? Common opportunities for improvement. Again, if you only read that in every one of mine, you'll know the whole story. What's below the headline, the subheadline, only proves it. Top says what it is and what you're going to gain from it. Some observations about presentations. Again, opportunities for improvement. Best practices. 1, define success up front. Would this be successful for you if, right? Get them involved. Ask more questions. Involve the audience. The more engaged they are, the better they'll like the presentation. 3, make sure it's seamless. Everything keeps connecting. 4, the more engaging, the better. By the way, they're going to remember the unexpected. 5, what's most important? your passion, demonstrating you're trying to help them with what they're trying to achieve, what's in it for you, the experience you're helping avoid a gain. Focus on the brain. The more the brains love a story, a picture in their head that doesn't love facts, the more structure provides the frameworks on how to follow it. And the more teamwork, the more engaged that team is, the more fun. And by the way, show teeth, because show teeth brings out the passion, brings out the emotion, makes you more likable. All right, what's worked best? What's been recognized by peers when they see presentations? 1, in the opening, have a hook based on engaging the audience. 2, accessorize it, use some videos, pictures, visuals. 3, reference some lessons learned, maybe even relevant to this class. 4, have a theme that keeps connecting the dots. And most importantly, in the closing, passion that pulls it all together. Tell them where you're going at the beginning and where you're at the end. Just like music, just like a book, they tend to remember the beginning and the end. Physically, right? Have a voice that inspires. Pretend you're in the living room. Don't share it. Don't just tell it and be excited about it. Have some emotion about it. If you don't believe it, why should they trust you? Eyes they can see. Get personal. If it's a group, not like tennis, just focus on one person at a time for at least an entire sentence and keep your eyes forward, right? Even because when you look down or look up, they know you're lost. I suggest if it's a live presentation, walk around the room. It engages more and you're less likely at the front looking like you're on the boat, rocking back and forth. Pay attention to them. Avoid looking at your slides. Quick glance at them and then look back at them. Don't read the slides. If they can read them, they don't need you. And engage that room. Ask questions and engage them. Graphically, start at the top. Tell a story. What's below on each page is just proof. If I read all the headlines and then the subheadlines, it connects all the dots. What's below each page just proves it, right? That mini headline is what adds the power, right? Make sure they know, by the way, who's on the team. Use pictures and graphics to drive your point. Use them. Sure, they're easy to understand. The more it's a mental picture adds thousands of words and a sentence only adds a few. Under every picture, under every graph, caption. Don't assume they get why it's there. 3, the more comparison and contrast is easy to put things in perspective. People understand better when they know not only what you're trying to do, but what you're trying to avoid. What makes things successful, but things to avoid. And some tricks of the trade. Adding dots. That tells the brain stop for a second, pause before you go on. Question mark, get them to stop and think. Right? Hyphens, give a quick little break in a description. Structuring, first, second, third, sequences help. Use information that informs. It's just the thought, not sentences. Sentences take the focus off you and make it steady. Share it. Statistics, testimonials, expert opinions, analogies, demonstrations, something they believe that they said. That drives more trust. Have some fun. And then they will too. That means share the unexpected because they'll always remember it, and show teeth. Don't take yourself too seriously. The most important part is you want to educate. 5 causes of anything to happen and the effect. Why is it important? Narrow your facts to the opinion of the audience that you hope they walk away with. Most people make decisions on summarizing down to 2 or 3 or 4 key opinions with enough facts to support it. If they can say so what to what you said, you only have a fact. The why is the implication. Some best practices, again, in the copy, use both a headline and a subheadline. If I read just the headline, the subheadline, I know what's on the page and why it's important. If I read just those, I know the whole story I'm being told. 2, minimal number of words, no paragraphs. 3, make it thought-provoking, right? The copy is to support what you're saying, not do the presentation for you. The strategy, make sure it has purpose. Why should they care? Engage the audience, include them. Have a really strong beginning and the end. You can have a lousy middle, but just like a song or just like a movie or just like a book, if they love the beginning and love the end, that's mostly what they're going to remember. And in that closing, have a very clear conclusion of what you hope their conclusion, their opinion of what they think the experience is they're going to avoid or gain is. Your graphics, make sure they're high contrast in colors. Keep the visuals, make sure there's a caption that explains it. Support the story. Keep sharing the implication. And across all the graphics, make sure the consistency. If it looks like it was patched together by different people, it's not going to be nearly as effective. And as an approach, define success up front. Make sure they buy in. 2, ask questions. 3, have fun and show teeth with an inspiring voice. Few summary thoughts, tip to remember. Think of it like an Oreo. They remember the beginning and the end. 2, have the energy. Like you're sharing this with a 4-year-old. But have success. Establish criteria in a plan to get. And again, color. Extreme contrast. They won't be able to read it or follow it. I want to share an example of a friend's presentation. And I hope you notice that it was designed to demonstrate something that was a mutual beneficial initiative. And he's presenting to a school board. And let me show you again using the techniques that we just talked about. Let me bring this up. So, first page, the growth opportunity. What's a concept? Plant a seed to enhance the future, some perspective. Even if I knew that tomorrow world would go to pieces, I would still plant my apple tree today. Martin Luther King is trying to plant a seed. What is key assumptions? So he starts off key assumptions. This is what I think you're about, right? He's presenting to a school called Concordia. He said, look, the school is built on a foundation of core values. Notice he's focusing on them and how do they feel about that? They love it. And what's he demonstrating? I think I understand you, but help me understand. You get extraordinary academics, right? You have an emphasis on extracurricular, right? It's purpose-driven and it's poised for greater growth. But he's setting it up front. Why would they be interested? It's based on them. 2, here's some assumptions. You want to grow. It supports your missions and core values, what those are. You have the capacity, which is stewardship, which is important to you. It helps build your financials. And what's required? Well, it's greater awareness of your organization. So he's setting up the potential and the problem, and then he's getting what this is all about. So there's a compelling opportunity. It's knocking now. Would you agree it's time for lacrosse? Why? It's the fastest growing sport. It's growing even more rapidly locally, right? There's few powerhouse schools in Texas right now. It's mostly East Coast. This school is poised for this opportunity. Students and parents love the sport. Here's why. Doesn't matter about your height. Much more affordable. It's much more inclusive. It's safer than most contact sports. It's really fast. Essentially, get the strategy of basketball, the field management of soccer, and physicality of hockey. People are going to love it. Can you see why this sport, the opportunity is knocking now? He said, so it's the fastest growing sport on 2 feet. By the way, there's now over 200,000 high school players today. Why is it a great sport? Now, superstars in high school. This makes it more personal. Jim Brown, those Hall of Fame football player, maybe the best lacrosse player that ever lived. Steve Nash, right? Plays basketball for the LA Lakers. He played lacrosse. Bob Woodward, he played lacrosse. Bill Belichick, he didn't play football. He was a lacrosse player in college, and on and on. Even Jim Brown said, if he could have played pro lacrosse, if that had been an option, he'd have chosen that over football. So what's it? What are you going to notice? Right? The speed, the teamwork, the strategy. What's the field strategy? It's like soccer, get down the field. It's around the nets like basketball. Physically, it's like hockey. It's about ball control, like baseball. It's the teamwork. It's healthy. So it's now building sport. Notice on the bottom of every page, reinforcing their logo and the concept, opportunity, right time to right place, supporting the mission, vision, core values. It's all about them. And a few more facts. Why the opportunities now? Texas, it's growing rapidly in Houston, right? There's new local teams, and now 15. There's 2 NCAA programs now in Texas, right? USA, it's, there's now a Premier League, and globally, it just got admitted to the Olympic Committee. It's now, and it fits, back to them, it fits their mission. Their mission. Now, what you can call Rose by another names is sweet, right? It's like Army leadership, right? Loyalty, duty, respect, all those things, and it ties as a religious school. Wisdom is the power to see the truth without attempting to fit it in any mold. So what's the vision now? What's the vision? Why could Concordia be a hub of Texas lacrosse? 1, it can attract students, right, as a powerhouse with rigorous training and potential play at a university level. 2, you get sponsored events to use the facilities at the school, which they have plenty, which increases awareness of the school and builds the school's reputation. 3 is activization in the sport. As a coach of not only this team, he'll go out, this particular person, and spread the word about the school and bring East Coast, because he's from the East Coast people that will lacrosse really originating as words of power. He's going to bring East Coast strategies to a Southwest team. And the resources exist in the school, the classroom, the weight room, the practice field, whatever. And by the way, multiple parents have already shared with this guy. He was coach at Concordia. They want to enroll. So now he asks, can I help? Here's my qualifications. And he talks about his qualifications in Texas. And his qualifications not only in lacrosse and football, and his qualifications, which he was a superstar in New Jersey, and his qualifications, he was exceptionally strong as a leader in the Army. And again, examples of some initiatives to specifically turn this school into a powerhouse: skill camps, clinics, and college showcases, and host special tournaments, and volunteer leadership, and a travel club. And then he goes to what's your investment utilizing me? You win, I win, and we win together. You're going to get a coach with a passion, initiative, and capability. You're going to get an educator that can be a substitute teacher, regular in the classroom. And if a classroom opening comes up, take it. You can be the ambassador, attracting new students and building awareness of the school. It's a fit. The school's mission, vision, and core values. You only need, frankly, 5 students per year, and it more than pays for your investment. What do I need? I need to be an employee full-time with a competitive salary and benefits. So what are the next steps? You notice how that uses the concepts that we've talked about. And if you want to click on it, I'm not going to go through it here, but I share an example from a company, Champion Windows. Again, this was used as training for the sales team on how to present to clients. And you'll see similar best practices, right? I also share with you a link. I want to take a quick look so you see what's there. And I gave you a quick link for your presentations. There's a ton of these. So for example, if you're doing something on business modeling, right? This pulls up a bunch of graphics that you can use for business modeling. So I got over 100 of them here, which are templates to get you started on almost any topic that you may have in business. Whether you use the actual graphic or not, it'll help make the complex simple so you know what you're trying to do and at the core, what's important. It's a resource for you. So if you'd agree this was successful for you today, right? Personal, you got some insights that made sense. It's purposeful, built on the foundation, helps set the foundation of this course. It's meaningful. You learned a few things you can use in your career. If you get any questions, thoughts, whatever, please let me know. I hope this was helpful.